I've never been the type to talk about my life, but looking back now, I can see exactly where things went wrong. My name's Jake. I'm 26, and I work as a stocker at a neighborhood grocery store. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. Most days I come home tired, smelling like cardboard and detergent, but at least I know I earned every dollar. When I started dating Alyssa, I honestly thought she liked that about me, that I was grounded, responsible, not trying to play someone I wasn't. She was 24, a part-time barista who always had some new reason why she couldn't take on more shifts. My manager's impossible, or my anxiety's acting up, or I swear the customers drain my soul. I didn't push. I figured everyone has their own rhythm. But slowly, almost casually, things shifted. First it was small stuff. Hey babe, can you spot me 20? Payday's weird this week. Then it became, my tips suck today. Can you cover my Uber? And then, I need a quick loan for my hair appointment. I'll pay you back Friday, promise. She said promise so often it stopped meaning anything. At first I didn't mind. I cared about her. I wanted to help. And she always smiled afterward like I'd done something sweet. But there was this moment, stupid, tiny, when I realized she wasn't even thinking about me at all. We were at the mall because she needed something small for an event her friend was hosting. I expected maybe a cheap top, maybe a lip gloss. But she came out of the store with a giant bag and said, without looking at me, you got it, right? Not even a question, more like a reminder. I paid. She didn't even glance at the total. That night, I lay in bed replaying it. I wasn't angry, just hollow. After that, it felt like a switch flipped in her head. Money wasn't a conversation anymore. It was an assumption. She started hinting that I should cover her phone bill just for this month. She wanted a new pair of shoes because my manager basically told us to look more presentable. She needed money for her friend's birthday dinner, which she invited herself to. Every time she added that line, I'll pay you back. You know I will. But she never did. What made it worse was how she talked about it. One night I overheard her on the phone with her friend Tara. She laughed and said, well, Jake always takes care of me. He's like, reliable. Like I don't even worry about stuff. She said it the same way someone might talk about a dishwasher or a car that never breaks down. Useful, convenient. Not someone you appreciate, something you use. The next time I brought up bills, just calmly mentioning that I needed to put more aside for rent, she rolled her eyes and said, you're stressing too much. You always bounce back. Like my paycheck had magical properties. It hit me slowly, over weeks, how one-sided everything was. When she wanted to go out with her friends, she expected me to fund it. When she wanted a new outfit, she called it an investment in us, like I got something out of it. She didn't ask how my day went. She didn't notice when I came home exhausted. She only noticed when I said no, and even then, she acted like I'd personally betrayed her. I started paying attention to the way she looked at me when money came up. It wasn't angry. It wasn't grateful. It was entitled, like I was failing to perform some duty she firmly believed I owed her. And the truth is, that's when the idea first appeared in my head. Not fully formed, not even clear. Just a thought. She's not using me secretly. She's doing it in front of me, confidently, because she thinks I'll never push back, because she thinks I won't leave, because she thinks she can drain me dry and I'll smile and say, sure, babe. I didn't plan revenge that day, but I stopped fighting the feeling that something was deeply wrong. I started seeing her exactly the way she saw me, not as a partner, not as a boyfriend, but as something useful, something she could tap into whenever she needed a boost. That's when something in me quietly shifted. I didn't say anything. I didn't confront her. I didn't threaten to break up. I just watched, listened, and realized she was digging a hole for herself. And for the first time, I wondered what would happen if I stopped pulling her out. If part one of our relationship was her slowly leaning on me, part two was her jumping up and down on my shoulders just to see if I'd collapse. It started with little comments in front of her friends. We'd be sitting in her friend's tiny apartment, cheap wine on the table, everyone talking about how broke they were. Someone would complain about rent, another about their car payment, and then Alyssa would smirk and go, well, Jake's got me. He always comes through. She'd say it like a brag, like she'd won something. The first time, everyone laughed. I forced a smile and pretended it didn't sting. But she didn't stop. She got comfortable telling this little story about us where my entire role was the guy who pays. We went to a birthday dinner for her friend Mia. At the end, the bill came. People started doing the math on their phones, and Alyssa just slid the check toward me and said, "Babe, can you just put it on your card? I'll Venmo you my part." She said it in front of everyone, loud and casual. I paid. She never Venmo'd me. No one was surprised. Later that night, as we were walking back to my car, she laughed and said, "You handled that like a champ. Some guys get so weird about money." I wanted to ask, "What about you?" But I knew the answer. She never got weird about money because she never had to feel the weight of it. She just tossed it in my direction and waited for me to catch. There's only so many times you can swallow that before something changes inside you. I remember the exact moment my brain flipped from hurt to planning. We were sitting on her couch, some reality show playing in the background, when she started talking about wanting new clothes for content. She didn't actually post anything serious, just random selfies and coffee photos. But she'd convinced herself she needed a better wardrobe to look the part. "I'm thinking like, maybe 3 or 4 outfits," she said, scrolling on her phone. "Nothing crazy, maybe like 300 total." I stared at her. $300 was more than half my rent. She didn't notice the silence. She just kept scrolling. "I'll pay you back, obviously," she added, barely looking up. That word again, obviously, said like a reflex, said like a habit she'd never challenge. Right then, something cooled inside me. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't even going to argue. I was done being the reasonable boyfriend desperately trying to explain budgets to someone who lived in a fantasy. Instead, I let my face relax, nodded and said, "Sure, we can figure it out." Her eyes lit up. "Really? You're the best." She leaned over, kissed me quickly, and went back to online shopping, humming under her breath. She had no idea that for the first time, I wasn't agreeing because I wanted to help. I was agreeing because I wanted to see exactly how far she'd go if no one stopped her. That's when I started keeping track. At first, it was just a note in my phone. New shoes, $85. Phone bill, $60. Hair appointment, $120. Then it became screenshots of our text where she promised, in writing, "I'll pay you back Friday," or "Just a loan, I swear." I didn't say anything about it. I didn't change the way I acted. On the surface, nothing was different. Inside, everything was. She got bolder. She started telling people things like, "Jake just gets it. He knows it's easier for him to handle the money stuff." She told one of her coworkers while I was standing right there, "Once you find a guy who invests in you, don't let him go." It sounded sweet if you didn't look too closely, but I heard the subtext. I wasn't a partner. I was a resource. Whenever I tried to talk about my own life, my hours getting cut, my manager being on my case, my car needing new brakes, she glazed over. She'd nod, say, "That sucks, babe," and then change the subject back to something she wanted. The imbalance wasn't just financial, it was emotional. I was there for her. She was there when it benefited her. The weird part is, once I accepted that, I stopped expecting anything different. And when you stop expecting someone to treat you well, you stop giving them warnings. You just watch. I didn't cut off the money. I didn't tell her no more often. I did the opposite. I loosened the rope. If she hinted at wanting something, I'd say, "If it makes you happy, go for it." If she worried about a bill, I'd say, "I can help this time." Every time I added it to the list. Every loan. Every "I'll pay you back." Every emoji-filled thank you that vanished as soon as she got what she wanted. It wasn't about the total. It was about the pattern. Some people show you who they are when things get hard. Alyssa showed me who she was when things were easy. She didn't have to fight or struggle or sacrifice. She just had to say, "Babe, can you?" and wait for me to solve it. There was no curiosity about what that cost me. There was only assumption. By the time a couple of months passed, I wasn't confused anymore. The picture was clear. She didn't see what she was doing as wrong. She saw it as normal. My role. And that's when the real plan formed. I wasn't going to drag her out of the mess she was making. I was going to step aside quietly and let her keep digging. with both hands, eyes closed, smiling, thinking she'd never hit the bottom. The idea for the inheritance came to me on one of those dead-end shifts at the store. I was stacking cans, zoning out, imagining what it would be like if I actually had extra money. Not a lottery win, just a chunk that didn't already belong to rent or groceries or some overdue bill. I caught myself thinking, if I had that, Alyssa would drain it in a month. And then another thought followed, quieter, sharper. What if she thought I did? I didn't rush it. I let the thought sit for a while, roll around in my head. I wasn't trying to scam her out of anything. I wasn't going to forge documents or trick her into signing real contracts. I just wanted to stop pretending we were something we weren't. She saw me as a bottomless wallet. I was going to let her act like it, fully, with the volume turned all the way up. A couple weeks later, I brought it up casually while we were eating takeout on her couch. She was half watching some influencer vlog, half scrolling through her phone. "Hey," I said, "you remember my Uncle Rob? The one in Florida?" She glanced over. "The weird one with the boat?" "Yeah, him." I shrugged. "He passed away. My mom called today." Her face softened a little. "Oh, I'm sorry, babe." It was the first time in a while she'd said something that wasn't about her. I nodded. "Yeah, it's weird. I wasn't that close to him, but yeah." We let that sit for a second. Then I added, like it was an afterthought, "Mom said he left a little money to some of us. Nothing crazy, just like a small inheritance. She doesn't know the exact number yet." I said it casually. Not too big, not too dramatic, just enough to plant the seed. Her eyes sharpened instantly. I saw it. That tiny flash. She tried to hide it, but it was there. "Oh," she said slowly. "Wow, I mean, that's sad, but that kind of helps, right? With your stress and stuff?" "Yeah," I said. "Might help with some bills. Maybe put a little aside." "I don't know yet." She nodded, lips pressed together, eyes distant. I didn't say anything else. I just let her brain work on it. Within a week, she brought it up again. "So, did they tell you anything more about the inheritance?" she asked while we were driving. "Like, how much it might be?" I had already decided on the story. "Yeah, Mom said it'll be around 5 grand before taxes. I'll probably see something like 4 after everything." I watched her process that. $4,000. A fortune to someone who'd never had to earn it. She whistled softly. "Damn, that's actually amazing for you." "For you?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm going to use most of it for boring stuff. Catch up on some things, maybe fix my car. But it's a bit of breathing room." "Breathing room," she repeated, staring out the window. "Must be nice." The next few days, her spending ramped up like someone hit fast forward. She wanted new clothes. "Because if we're going out more now that you're less stressed, I should look good." She wanted to get her hair done at a nicer salon. "Just this once because you're in a better spot now." She wanted to take a weekend trip to celebrate getting out of survival mode. Every time it was wrapped in this fake concern for my stress. Every time, it somehow ended with me paying. "So technically," she said one night, scrolling through hotel options on her phone, "you're not even using your regular money. It's like bonus money from your uncle. He'd probably want you to enjoy it." I almost laughed. She'd known the man for 5 minutes at Thanksgiving 3 years ago, but she spoke like she had some spiritual insight into how he wanted his money spent. I leaned back and said, "Yeah, maybe. We'll see what's left after I handle the serious stuff." She took that as a yes, or maybe she just translated everything into not no. Meanwhile, my little document file grew. Every loan. Every, just until Friday. Every, I swear I'll cover my part later. I had screenshots of texts where she called it borrowing and temporary. I never tricked her into saying those words. She offered them herself on autopilot to make herself feel like a good person. There were other signs her finances were falling apart. Her phone buzzed more with unknown numbers, and she'd silence them fast. She complained about fees, for no reason. Once I saw a red past due envelope on her kitchen counter with a utility company logo on it. When she realized I'd noticed, she flipped it over and joked, "They're so dramatic with their colors, right?" Her parents were starting to crack too. One night after a call with her mom, she threw her phone onto the couch and groaned. They just don't get it, she said. They're like, Alyssa, you can't keep overdrafting. You need to budget. I'm like, hello, everything's expensive. It's not my fault. I didn't say anything. I just stored that away with everything else. The last big push came when she found a friend's trip to the coast. 2 nights at some cheap motel near the beach, split 4 ways. She showed me the pictures like a kid showing a parent a flyer for summer camp. It's only like $350 each, she said, for the room, gas, and food. And I've been dying to get out of town. You know how drained I've been. $350 for her to go drink on a beach with people I barely knew. I really want to go, she said, lower, softer, but I'm tapped until next month. If I wait, everyone will go without me. There it was, the last ask, the one that would tip everything. I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't scared. She wasn't humbled. She wasn't thinking, maybe this is too much to expect. She was just waiting for her ATM to spit out cash. Okay, I said slowly. I can cover it. But this is a lot, Alyssa. She rolled her eyes. Babe, stop. You're always okay. It's not like you're going to end up homeless. You literally just said you're better now with that inheritance. There was no shame, no awareness, just that absolute belief that I'd always be fine, no matter what she took. I nodded. Yeah, you're right. I transferred the money and added it to the list, right under a new line I typed earlier that day. After this, we're done. The beach trip came and went without me. She left on a Friday afternoon, wheeling a borrowed suitcase down her apartment stairs, talking a mile a minute on the phone with one of her friends. I carried the bag to the car because that's what I'd always done. Quietly help while she focused on everything else. She gave me a quick kiss and said, "You're the best, seriously. I'll bring you something cute back." Like I was a dog she was leaving with a chew toy. I watched the car pull out and felt nothing. No jealousy, no anger, just a strange, heavy calm. Like I'd been holding my breath for a long time and finally decided I was done. While she sent me beach selfies and wish you were here texts that night, I sat on my couch and opened my laptop. I organized everything. Screenshots of payments, our text conversations, notes on what each transfer was for, every "I'll pay you back" circled by my cursor. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't lie. I didn't add interest or make it look more dramatic than it was. It was already bad enough. The total made my stomach twist. It wasn't just the big things. It was the constant drip. 20 here, 50 there, 100 for an emergency that somehow always had new lashes or a night out attached to it. Seeing it in one place turned the last few months into something I couldn't pretend was just helping my girlfriend. It was exploitation, dressed up as romance. I saved everything into one simple folder and backed it up on a flash drive. Not because I planned to sue her or drag her through court, just because I was done pretending none of it happened. I wanted proof for myself, if no one else, that I hadn't imagined it. She came back Sunday night, sunburned and tired, knocking on my apartment door with a lazy smile. "Bah, bae," she said when I opened it, dragging out the word. "I'm dead. That drive was brutal." She dropped her bag on the floor, kicked off her sandals, and flopped onto my couch like she lived there. I watched her look around, searching for something. "What?" I asked. She grinned. "No welcome home kiss? No, how was it, honey?" Rude. I sat in the armchair instead of next to her. "How was it?" "So good," she said, launching into this long story about the beach, the drinks, the drama between two of her friends, the weird motel neighbors. She talked for 10 minutes straight and didn't notice I barely reacted. Finally, she stretched and said, "Anyway, I'm exhausted. You want to order something? I'm starving, but I'm like actually at zero until Thursday." There it was, back to the script. "No," I said. She froze. "No what?" "No," I repeated. "I'm not paying for anything else, Alyssa." She laughed like I'd made a joke. "Okay, dramatic. I'll get you back on Thursday. You know that." I picked up the small stack of printed pages from the coffee table and held them out to her. "No," I said again. "I really don't." She stared at the papers like they were in another language. "What is this?" "Everything," I said. "Every loan. Every bill I covered. Every 'I'll pay you back' you never did. I wrote down the dates, the amounts, the reasons. I printed our texts. Her face went red, then pale, then red again. Why would you? That's so weird, Jake. Who does that? People who realize they're being used, I said quietly. She surged to her feet. I'm not using you. Oh my God. Are you serious right now? You're really acting like I'm some gold digger? I'm acting like someone who finally believes what's in front of him, I said. You don't see me. You see money. You see what I can do for you. You brag about it. You assume it. You never stop. That's not fair, she snapped. Relationships are about helping each other. I nodded slowly. Yeah. So tell me, what have you helped me with, Alyssa? What bill of mine did you pay? What did you sacrifice for me? What did you say no to so I could say yes? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her eyes shifted away from mine. That's different, she muttered. No, I said. It's really not. Silence hung between us. The TV screensaver bounced in the background, bright and stupid. I'm not doing this, she said finally, voice going shrill. You could have just said you were stressed. You didn't have to stalk your own bank account like a psycho and print out receipts like my dad. Funny she said that, I thought. I am stressed, I said, and I'm done. We're done, Alyssa. She blinked. Done? Like done? Yeah, I said. We're not together anymore. I'm not your boyfriend, and I'm not your bank. For a second, I saw real fear flicker across her face. Not about losing me exactly. About losing what came with me. You can't be serious, she said. Over money? It was never just money, I answered. It was respect, or the complete lack of it. She paced, ran her hands through her hair, cursed under her breath. So what? You want me to write you a check or something? Dear Jake, sorry for existing. Here's every penny back. Like I even have that. I shrugged. You don't have to do anything right now. I'm not dragging you to court. I'm not posting this online. But I am going to send this to your parents. She froze again. What? They keep bailing you out, I said. They co-signed your car. They pay when you overdraft. They think you're barely scraping by. They should know where the money's really been going. Her voice dropped. Don't drag them into this. That's messed up. What's messed up is you burning through my paychecks and theirs like none of us are real people. I said, you don't have to like what I'm doing. But I'm done being your secret ATM. If you're going to keep living like this, it shouldn't be a secret. She stared at me, chest rising and falling fast. I could see her trying to decide whether to cry, beg, or scream. In the end, she just grabbed the papers, crumpled them in her hands, and threw them back at me. You're unbelievable, she hissed. You'll regret this. No one's going to be on your side. You're going to look insane. Maybe, but I didn't feel insane. I felt clear. After she left, slamming the door so hard a picture rattled on the wall, I took photos of the documents and texted them to the number I knew as Mrs. H, her mom. No long explanation, just, Hi, this is Jake. I think you should see this. This is what your help has been covering. Then I put my phone face down and sat in the quiet. The fallout came fast. The next day I got a long message from her mom, not angry at me, but disappointed and furious at her. She thanked me for being honest. She said they were cutting her off until she learned how to handle her own mess. She asked how much she personally owed me, and I told her the number. She didn't argue, she just said, we'll handle it, but we're done enabling this. I heard through mutual friends later that Alyssa had to move back in with her parents. They sold her car to cover some of what she owed them. She picked up extra shifts, real ones, not the vague I'm trying stories she used to feed everyone. People stopped laughing when she bragged about guys paying her way. They'd seen the screenshots. Did I ruin her life? No, I just stopped cushioning her from the consequences of her own choices. Weeks later, I was stocking shelves again, sliding cans into neat rows, when I realized something. I hadn't thought about lending anyone money in days. My paycheck was mine. My small, tired life was mine. It felt light. Some nights I still replay her words in my head. You're always okay. You'll bounce back. It's not that serious. The difference now is that she's the one learning how serious it actually is when the people you treat like ATMs finally hit decline. And me, I didn't have to destroy her. I just had to stop saving her from herself.